at Itron Inspire, and I'm talking to Marina Donovan. So great to see you.
Great to see you.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about the Itron Resourcefulness Report.
Yep.
Itron puts out a wonderful report every year. I encourage everyone to read it. This year is awesome, and it focuses on data. So tell me why.
Yeah, we really looked at real-time data and the insights you can get from it. And I just think it's, we've been working a lot with customers, clearly, and they all wanted to get more visibility into what's happening. So the smart meters have been out or deployed for the last 10 years or so. And now we've got all this data, and we want to be able to help customers to get insights, actionable insights of what to do with it, right? So we decided to focus on that, and we learned a lot too. And we did it in 5 countries, and we surveyed 600 utility executives and 600 consumers. So it was nice to get a mix of who cares about what.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. And in fact, now that you bring that up, there's an awesome finding in there. I thought was so interesting. First, it found that consumers are willing to pay more on their bills to receive more personalized insights. And 92% of utilities say they're doing that, but only 65% of consumers say they get that. They're getting those insights. So what did you make of that?
Well, I think it depends. I mean, some of it is a little bit of what the report said, and some of it is just our own perceptions.
Sure, yeah, right.
I think it also depends on the age of the consumer as well. But I think there are reports that are sent out, like usage reports, but they're not. I mean, for example, get mine. It doesn't seem that accurate, right? And so I think people really want to know more about, how do I save money on my bill, right? And just because it seems like the bills is going up.
Yeah, sure.
And interestingly, I live in Northern California. We had the heat waves a few weeks ago, and we were getting alerts about how to reduce energy, but that was really to protect the grid, not so much lower the bill. So I do think there's a lot more we can do in the area of personalized insights and what people care about.
Yeah.
So.
And AMI can really help with that, like disaggregating, right? So understanding which appliance is pulling which.
Potentially, yes. Yeah. I mean, that's what you want to know. You want to know, well, what's the hog? What's the energy hog? Yeah. Is it the dishwasher? Is it the refrigerator? But now I think the big concern, and that's what I'm hearing around the conference, is how are we going to prepare for EVs?
Right.
Because I heard one customer said, if we have 3 or 4 customers doing EVs, that could impact a transformer, and transformers are fragile and hard to find.
Fragile, expensive, and impossible to get now.
So I think it's in having just the wave will be. I think clearly consumers want to lower their bills, right? And and I think utilities want to be more efficient, and then they are going to have to actually build a closer rapport with the consumer, with their customers. And hopefully we'll get to a point where we can empower the consumer. And this is when you're getting them really more engaged instead of passively engaged. I get the emails from my utility, your bills, whatever, but it never seems to go down. No matter, even with less people living in our house, like, I don't understand that.
Oh no.
So anyways, I think we're going to get to a point one day where people will be able to see what appliances are their energy hogs, have more awareness about their bills, or seeing, I've just subscribed, I just realized I can say, hey, if my bill's gonna reach a certain threshold, I want an alert, right? Because I think we as a community need to eliminate waste, right? And I've learned a lot just being in this, but it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave the lights on unnecessarily, but I think things like EVs, that can be a big swing. So I think people are going to have apps, and it's going to be more personalized, and they're going to be able to see things in more real time.
So useful. I mean, another finding that the report said was that data analytics ranks between 3 and 6 for utility priorities, but moves to the top 3 in 5 years. I mean, so I was wondering, why do you think that is? Why do you think they're saying it's going to be more important? And then, is there time to wait to install the, whatever it is they need to get better analytics?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors. I think aging infrastructure and having visibility. I literally just left a session. It was so cool. They were looking at the grid, and they were looking at some high impedance. So potential safety, potential fire, potential outage, and what they learned from that is you know what, they got to the source of it, and it was, it was very, I don't know, all these different like wires and stuff put together that were stuck in a tree.
Oh, interesting.
So just the tree, the wind was moving, and then that was, you know, and so so they were able to see that anomaly, that blip in the voltage, and they were able to go after that, and you know, and it was a non-event, basically.
Yeah.
So utilities want to have that visibility to do that.
Right. Okay, so let's end with some examples. So how are utilities and cities using real-time data to solve their problems? What do you got?
Okay, so there's a few things. I want to say, I mean, we've been doing a lot of collaboration with different utilities and cities.
Yeah.
And I think I pointed out that, I mean, when it comes to smart cities, the biggest use has been for streetlights, because that also helps reduce, you know, achieve carbon goals. It also gives the city more visibility into what lights are out. It's a safety thing too. Yeah, you want to make sure that the light's on. And before it was really literally a phone call, right? So cities and utilities are now sharing that infrastructure, which is so cool to see, like the city of Chicago, for example. But I think other use cases, as I mentioned in my talk, air quality. Big, I mean, now we all have air quality apps, because in California we had all these fires. But in other parts of the world, it's a big deal, as well as traffic management. And then there might be like, you know, some things down the road in terms of just integrating what's happening with your EV when that day comes and we're all driving, you know, zero emission vehicles. So, so I mean, there's a whole list that you have to read the report, and it's free. No one has to pay for it. You can just download it. It's out there for everybody.
All right, so where can people find the report?
They can find it at itron.com/resourceful.
Yes, read the report. Super fascinating stuff. Marina, thank you so much for coming out to talk to me.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming.